Most of the games that come through Uncle Ed's Bargain Bin Gamble get about 1 hour. 1 hour for me to play the game, figure out what it's doing, and decide whether I wasted my time or money. But Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, needed more time. After 1 hour, I was still on the first mission trying to figure out the controls. So instead of rushing out a review, I kept playing. Now I'm over 12 hours into the game, and I'm currently playing on Mission 5. And I finally feel like I understand what Shadow Tactics is trying to do. Sigh, boom, here we go. Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun. This is a real-time tactical stealth game set in feudal Japan. You control a team that includes ninjas, a samurai, and other specialists. Where each character has a different ability, you know what I'm saying? So they all do something different, and you could, combine those abilities to complete the mission. You'll be sneaking through castles, villages, mountains, and heavily guarded compounds. The goal is to study the area, watch the enemy patrols, use your character's abilities, complete the mission without shit falling apart. Every section is basically a puzzle. You might have two guards watching each other. Another guard is walking back and forth. Somebody else is standing in the distance with a sight cone just watching the whole area. So before you move, you gotta figure out how everything fits together. Who do you distract first? Which guard needs to be removed? Can I throw a rock and make somebody look the other way? Can I use Shorty's whistle to, pull a guard this way, set a trap? Can I take somebody out and hide the body real quick before the patrol comes back around? Do I need to use the ninja or do I need to use the samurai? Can I put two characters into position and use that shadow mode to take them both out at the same time? This is what Shadow Tactics is really about. Watching, planning, timing, and then executing the plan without making a mistake. Because if one of your characters get killed, that's it, game over. Getting spotted doesn't always mean that the mission is over, but once that alarm goes off, you already know, things is out of hand. The guards start searching, patrol changes route, enemies start moving in the areas where they weren't before, and most of the time, once my plan is blown, I'm reaching for the quick load button real quick to start over again. But the stealth gameplay is also the main reason I like this game. I don't like Shadow Tactics simply because it's difficult. A game being hard don't mean it's good. You know what I'm saying? So there are lots of hard games out there that I don't got no interest in playing. We ain't gonna call out no names. But I like Shadow Tactics because, I like stealth games. I like watching enemies and studying their movements. I like looking at their sight codes and figure out, can I get that way without getting seen? Games like Sniper Elite, they let you mark the enemies, study the patrol routes, and you wait for the moment to attack. Ghost Recon also gives you the chance to scout the area, mark the enemies, and you could approach the situation before things get crazy. Shadow Tactics gives me that same type of satisfaction, only from an overhead tactical view. It also gives me some of the thoughtful strategy I enjoy in turn-based games. I like games that slow things down and give me time to think about the next move. The difference is Shadow Tactics is not turn-based. Everything is happening in real time. The guards keep walking while you're thinking. Patrols keep moving. Enemies keep turning around. So you gotta have the correct plan, before things fall apart. You might move 2 seconds too early and get seen. Or you can move 2 seconds too late and you might miss the opportunity. The strategy matters, but you still have to execute it correctly. And that's where the learning curve comes in. The learning curve in Shadow Tactic is huge. During my first hour, I'm still trying to figure out the basic controls. I had to remember which character I had selected, which abilities they had, and how to move around the map while keeping track of all the guards. Sometimes I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I couldn't make the characters do it properly. That could be frustrating. But once I got more comfortable switching between the characters, using distractions, throwing rocks, setting up actions with the shadow mode, that's when the game really started to open up. That's when you start to feel like a real ninja, you know what I'm saying? You stop rushing. You stop guessing. You hide in the bushes and you wait. You watch the guards. You study their patterns. You send one character around the back while another character creates a distraction. Then you put everybody into position and execute the plan. And when it works, yo, it feels good. You might spend 10, 15 minutes just studying one area. You might fail. You might reload, try a different approach. But when you finally get through that section without being seen, feels like you earned it. That's what kept me playing this game for over 12 hours. Not the mission failed screens, not the difficulty by itself, it was the feeling of getting better. I can see the difference between how I played during the first mission and how I'm currently playing now on mission 5. During the first mission, I'm fighting the controls, trying to remember, what to do. I'm still making mistakes, but now I'm moving with a purpose. I'm starting to recognize the solutions. I'm starting to understand which character works best in different situations. And I'm starting to use the shadow mode the way the game intended. Shadow mode lets you assign actions to multiple characters and then have them execute those actions together. So maybe one character distracts a guard while somebody else sneaks past. Or you position 2 characters near 2 different enemies and take them both out at the same time. When you set everything up correctly and watch the plan work, that's probably the most satisfying part of the game. Now, Shadow Tactics is not an action-packed game. There are long stretches where you might sit still and study an area before doing anything, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. The thinking is part of the game. The plan is the action. The payoff comes when you finally put that plan into motion. This is mature, grown man thinking here, you know what I'm saying? You're not running into an area pressing every button and hoping, things work out. This is not a button masher. You could try that, but you're going to die. Shadow Tactics wants you to be patient. It wants you to pay attention. It wants you to understand every character and use their abilities together. Now, is this game going to be for everybody? Nope, not at all. If you need constant action, explosions, enemies coming at you every 30 seconds, this is definitely going to feel too slow. If you don't like stopping to study an open area, this is definitely not your type of game. You know what I'm saying? If you hate repeating a section after one mistake, because you're going to make lots of mistakes, this game is going to get on your nerve because you're going to fail. You're going to have to reload, a lot. And you're going to discover that one of the guards you completely forgot about was watching the whole time. You thought it was safe? Absolutely not. But if you like stealth games, tactical games, or strategy games that make you think before you act, Shadow Tactics is a really good one. So, what's my bargain bin verdict? I paid $4 for Shadow Tactics Blade of the Shogun. At $4, this is absolutely worth it. That isn't even a difficult decision. I already got more than 12 hours out of it, and I'm only on mission 5, and I still want to keep playing. Actually, the part of the reason it took me so long to put this review out, because I kept playing the game. Every time I thought I had enough, I wanted to just try another mission. Would I have paid the regular $40 for this game? Now that I understand how to play it and all that it offers, absolutely. I would pay the full $40. It takes time to learn. It could be frustrating while you're trying to figure out, and it's definitely not a game you can judge fairly after 1 hour. But once you get over that learning curve and everything starts clicking, Shadow Tactics lets you plan your moves like a real ninja. You watch, you wait, you strike, and then you disappear before anybody even realizes what happened. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun is officially bargain bin certified. For $4, this wasn't just worth it, it was a steal. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Uncle Ed's Bargain Bin Gamble. Be sure to like, subscribe, tune in for the next episode. We got another review coming soon.